are you related to Sister Alakok Kutaran? I found myself asking Mom at breakfast one day about a decade ago in Montemar. Why? We are first cousins. Mom beamed and was curious to ask back, how do you know her son? I told her that Sister Alakok would have been my piano teacher, but her students in San Jose, Nueva Ecija, refused to let her go. The first time I stood before Sister Alakok, she took me aside and fed me balut and coke in the same doting way that later on, Mom would heap cake, ice cream, mixed fruits, and coke on me, whether at snacks or dessert, during the workshop maze in Dumaguete. They were first cousins for sure, quick to overfeed, and yes, quick to pick out Coke as the magic drink of choice. In 2003, Mom generously endorsed my bid for a fellowship to study heritage symbols in Indonesia and Thailand. Before I left, Sister Alakok was among the kind nuns who raised one hand in blessing, singing the mercies of travel, assuring me that nothing would ever go wrong. In the ensuing years between Quezon City and Dumaguete, I managed to courier for the cousins a few words of fond regard, as both were already too old to travel and meet up. In 2006, some months before she flew to Manila to grace the 56th Palanca Awards, Mom entered the hospital in what would be her recurring bout with alternating depletions of either body sodium or potassium. Her condition challenged the doctors to come up with an unusual combination of pills, as the usual remedy only made her bedbound, her blood pressure shooting up precariously. As Mom continued to weaken, she also felt the certainty of slipping away. She talked about hovering in a twilight world, and while drifting, feeling deep in her bones that it was no longer possible to go on. In that half-lost world where she had reached the brink, Mom said that she found Sister Alakok beside her, singing a hymn. It was a hymn that I'd never heard all my life, Mom said. A song that was never among the church hymns I knew, but its melody spoke to me, goading me to tunnel out, lifting me out of my stupor. Sister Alakok seemed to be singing, "Return the praise, return the praise." So I returned, and waking up, I found myself in the hospital. As I healed back steadily, the song kept ringing in my head. Later on, when I was well enough, I hurriedly wrote it down. That afternoon, Mom sang it to Susan, Lara, and me at her hotel room in Dusit Tani. She had hoped for us to sit down and transcribe the twilight notes that she heard. Listening to her closely, I had no trouble finding the hymn's first notes, but unfortunately, the rest of it did not stay with me.